a vampire sent to drain secret destroyers.
The idea of a vampire is someone who is at all times experimenting in a sexual act. The fangs are a phallic projection that is inserting and taking from you. It's an exchange of bodily fluids. It is, on the one hand, not mutual, if we go back to the stories and movies, because the vampire usually casts a glamour, it's sometimes called, or keeps you under his or her gaze, and you want it but you don't want it. So it's a sexual violation. People who become vampires seem to have been sexually abused or have been sexually active at a very young age. They are also usually very sexually active as vampires and or find a partner and have a very, very monogamous relationship.
Don't we make a lovely couple?
Oh my God.
The idea that a vampire would suck blood from somebody is definitely a reference to an ideal of Jesus Christ giving his blood, and here the vampire is using that very, very holy, sacred tradition of drinking from the body of Christ. And all of a sudden now the vampire is somebody who is taking that and turning it on its head.
Despite all my rage, I am still just a rat in a cage. Despite all my rage, I am still just a rat in a cage.
The twist becomes when the person gets hooked. And so the victim, very often a female, is complicit in her own victimization. And continued victimization eventually becomes, in some cases, a vampire herself, and then goes on to turn somebody else. It's usually, although not always, a male who is violating the female. When we see the female vampire queen, she usually has a large number of men following her, so it's almost a queen bee sort of situation. Very seldom do we see the kind of sexy single go at her own vampire like we see in the Lestat series. They are much more focused on themselves and developing themselves as individuals and within a group of friends that feels safe and supportive than they are outward looking. I mean, they don't care about us. We care much more about them. And I think they would be quite surprised for us to maybe perhaps flattered, perhaps, but also a little bit creeped out. Why do we care about them? They're just doing what they want to be doing.
I'm a vampire.